this episode, I have this Jaguar F-Pace in for a full detail and ceramic coating. I start off with a pre-rinse to remove the majority of gritty dirt and dust from the vehicle. The carpeted wheel liners had a little bit of buildup of dirt that needed to be flushed out with a pressure washer. The wheels and tires were cleaned using GlassParency Wheel and Tire Cleaner diluted 5 parts to 1. This is an effective tire cleaner, removing the majority of tire browning in a single pass. The rims were cleaned using PNS Brake Buster diluted 3 to 1 in an assortment of wheel brushes. Once cleaned, the rims were protected using DIY detail quick cleans. The exterior was washed using DIY Detail Rinseless and their legacy sponge. Each panel was cleaned and then decontaminated using iron remover and a decontamination towel that had been soaking in the Rinseless solution. The process allows me to clean and decontaminate in a single pass around the vehicle, saving me a significant amount of time. The interior was moderately dirty and was cleaned up with an initial vacuum pass. All the cracks and crevices and compartments were blown out using the tornado blowout gun. The interior panels were relatively clean and did not need a deep cleaning, so I decided to jump straight to DIY Detail Interior Clean and Protect. This product provides a layer of protection, but is still strong enough to clean moderately dirty interiors when needed. There are a few areas that still require to pass with a Rinseless damper microfiber before applying Clean and Protect. leather seats were cleaned using GlassParency leather cleaner and a scrub pad. This combination was safe yet effective to remove the layer of dirt from the seats and restore the bright tan leather to its original color. Carpets were pre-treated using NCAP Release It, DS2, and then agitated with a drill brush. The carpets had been protected with floor liners and were only slightly soiled, so this combination made quick work with the step. The WeatherTech floor mats were cleaned using DIY Detail All Clean in an IK Foam Pro 2 and a drill brush. Boards had some stubborn dirt that would not come clean, so I attempted to use DIY All Clean and a brush to agitate the grooves. This vehicle had some light scratching from an automatic car wash, so I decided to start with the DIY Detail red jeweling pad and DIY Gold Standard polish on a rotary. This did not give me the finish that I was hoping for, so I jumped to using 3D1 with a Buff and Shine URO-Fiber pad on a DA followed by the Gold Standard combination. This significantly enhanced the paint in a decent amount of time. Polish residue was removed with a rinseless dampened microfiber once I finished an entire panel. A rinseless dampened microfiber allows me to easily remove the polish with little to no pressure and reduces the chances of inducing additional marring on a freshly polished panel. The intricate areas such as the detail on the front bumper were polished using DIY foam wool pad on the Flex PXC8. vehicle was then wiped down with GlassParency panel prep prior to applying the coating. The running boards were restored using solution finish, which will remove the oxidation from the faded plastics and bring back that deep dark color on the trim pieces. The paint, glass, and trim pieces that were not restored with solution finish all received a single layer of DIY Detail 8-year ceramic coating. The windshield was not coated because this needed to be replaced. More on why this needed to be replaced later in the video. The exhaust tips were polished using McKees 37 metal polish, and then the tires were dressed using the Wires Hyper Dressing Bluebird 1-to-1. I decided to coat the common touch areas such as the leather seats, steering wheel, and center console with a layer of DIY interior ceramic. This will provide additional protection for these areas and make them substantially easier to clean in the future. So I was editing this video. In this particular video, I wanted to take a few minutes to talk about something that happened while this vehicle was in my possession. It's not something that I think is talked about much on YouTube. When this vehicle was in my possession, I was detailing the interior, went to bed because it was 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, and I decided to continue on with the detail the following morning. When I went to bed, over the course of the night, some trim pieces around the attic pull down that I have in the garage ended up falling off and hit the windshield and cracked the windshield pretty significantly. So I woke up the next morning, went out to the garage, saw the trim pieces on the floor, and immediately went around the vehicle to inspect for any damage. Noticed the windshield that was cracked, and then also a small dent on the roof, right where the roof meets the windshield. Took a couple photos. That way I could send those to my customer and show them the damage that had happened. So it was about 6:30 when I first went out to the garage. So I waited until about 9:30 or so that way I could be sure my customer was up. Gave them a call, had a conversation with them about what had happened, and was just truthful with them. And I think being truthful with your customer when damage happens to their vehicle is going to go a long way. Obviously, any customer will be upset that, while you had possession of their vehicle was damaged. I always try to take precautions and make sure that my kids have a clear path around the garage. That way they can get outside if they want to and don't have to get close to the vehicle. Or if they're getting something out of the garage, I always stop what I'm doing to aid them in getting that item out and then getting them out of the garage as quickly as possible. But things happen, and this is one of those cases where this is not something that we could have predicted. It was just a fluke accident. Those trim pieces, the brad nails let go and they fell on the vehicle. Once the vehicle was returned back to the customer, I tried to stay in communication with them so that way they knew that I wasn't just letting this go and that I was still being involved in that process. So that way they could get the vehicle repaired and they were taken care of in that regard. So I think just having that open line of communication with your customer and seeing this through goes a long way when things like this happen. If you're just starting your detailing business, make sure that you're taking care of your customers. Whatever happens while something's in your possession, make sure you cover the cost and make sure that they're taken care of and that their property is restored back to its original condition as much as possible.